You ever get this far and just say, you know, maybe we should go with the plan B? Okay, so this morning went ahead and got the engine off the truck, and now I have it sitting on the engine stand. And as you can see, this thing's pretty rough. So it's gonna need a lot of attention. This valve cover isn't even on there. It's missing a rocker. I'm assuming while somebody at the shop, Jared owns a shop, so I'm assuming one of his guys needed a rocker or something. Not an issue, I have rockers. But it's just a hot mess, and in fact, I think I'm going to name this the Ugly Duckling. Get that out until further notice. Until we get this thing squared away, and y'all figure out what the project is. Anyways, Mopar Magnum V8, super big surprise, 318. I want to do a 318. I hadn't done one. And this is it's gonna be experimental. That's what the whole channel's about. Experimental V8 Magnums. So I've done the 360s. I've done 3 of them. Yeah, something like that. Anyways, it's time to move on to a 318. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear this thing down real quick, do a time lapse with you guys, and let's get this thing down to bare bones and see what we have. All right, so I went ahead and cleaned it up a little bit, got the vacuum out, took all the hoses off, the wiring off, vacuumed out all this valley right here on both sides. That way when the intake and the heads come off, as little as dirt as possible goes down in anything. Trying to take care of it. Went ahead and got a ratchet here and spins over, super easy. So it's not locked up or anything. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the impact, go ahead and tear this thing down. It's pretty bad. When I took the intake off, the tops broke off of these bolts right here. This looks pretty good, except for when the intake came off, it dropped dirt down in there, but it's a mess. We'll keep going, get these heads off here. Okay, more not good going on. There's dirt in here. There were some spark plugs missing. This dirt fell whenever I took the intake off. And yeah, I'm just gonna have to keep tearing it down. I'll go ahead and make sure the oil's drained out of it, and then go ahead and pull the oil pan off. Go ahead and pull the balancer, pull the timing cover. She was lubricated. ever get this far and just say, you know, maybe we should go with the plan B. Plan B costs too much. Let's keep going. Trying to clean up this mess here, and also went ahead and pulled the drain from the block right there. Let all the coolant out and did the same thing on the other side. Coolant's nice and green, so that's good. Too bad all this dirt fell in here. Good Lord. Just sitting over here thinking about the harmonic balancer being worn out and needs to be replaced. I was looking at a part real quick, and I peek over and the motor just starts puking oil. It's been sitting over there for like 5 minutes. Just puking oil. You want to go ahead and pull the lifters in the camshaft. Let me know what you guys think about the head cam. See if that's a good view for you guys. Give some different things a try here. This isn't really important, the order, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So much dirt and all in here. All this got to be cleaned and made nice. Roller lifters. Notice when I'm pulling these out, see that oiler hole? There's not one on that side. You'll need to remember that. Distributor. Parts pile. Okay, before the cam comes out, the gear from the oil pump is right there. So we'll just pop that out. If you use a flathead screwdriver, you can put it down. Hopefully I'm pointing that right. You can put it down in that groove right there, twist it, and give it a push, and it'll come right out. You hear the oil pump moving. So you can see right here, when I turn the gear, it comes up, and it just needs a little more help. There we go. Okay, so what happens is this guy just builds up some oil, and it's got to come through that piece of brass down there. But just work it, put 2 fingers under it like that, and pulled it up while I turned it. And what this is, make sure y'all can see it. What this is this drives off the camshaft, goes down to the oil pump, drives the oil pump, and then up here drives the distributor. And that's it. Now that leaves the camshaft to come out. And just take a nut off, take the bolt off, get that out. All right, our timing set, come off. Timing gear. And then this is a retainer plate, holds the cam in. I think this is like a, tells you when the timing chains wore out because it'll flap up against it. But whenever you do a Hughes cam, this is going to be longer. That way you can put an eccentric on there for a mechanical fuel pump if you want to run a mechanical fuel pump. And if you don't run the mechanical fuel pump, you have to run the spacer on there. So if you run a Hughes cam, remember that. Also, don't lose your keys while you're working on it. Some oil coming out. More mess. All right, take our retainer plate off. I think I'm gonna find a long bolt to get this cam out. All right, I could not find a longer bolt to put in here as a handle. I'm gonna do the best I can and walk this camshaft out. It's you can get to it all right here, so I can just use my hands, ow, to get crushed. I can just use my hand to hold the back of the cam so it doesn't drop down like that too much and scar up the bearings. Just go slow, pull the cam out here. Now I should be able to get it out without nicking any of the bearings right here. Slow and steady. All right, now that the cam's out, go ahead and roll this thing over, make more of a mess, pull the pistons out. For the new guys, I went ahead and rolled it back over. As you can see, this dirty piston has a notch right there that indicates to the front of the engine. And then when we roll it back over, the main caps are already numbered. So you'll see your main caps are numbered right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the rear is not numbered, but it's obvious the rear is the rear because it has the rear main seal and the oil pan gasket. So I have a couple of little stamps over here. I'm gonna go ahead and stamp all my connecting rods. That way I can pull out my pistons, keep them all in order, and then we can pull the crank. Go stamp number 1. Not gonna hit it too hard. Don't want to do any damage to the bearing. There you see, perfect number 1. Let's see what that bearing looks like. It's wearing through a little bit. Now I'm just going to push the piston out. Don't let it hit the crankshaft. Just going to hit the bolt head just a tad. There's piston 1. All right, piston 1 out. You'll see the little lock tabs go lock to lock. Put the rod cap back on. Put the bolts back on. And that's number 1. You see those little gummy, see that little gummy film to it. And the oil rings, they move pretty good. Anyway, there's number 1. I'm gonna go ahead and mark these and pull all these out. Bring you guys back in a few. All right, I have all the pistons and rods out, and hopefully you can see my hands are really dirty. That's why I'm wearing the head cam. Right here, there's some emblems. It looks like a little lock on that one. On this one's like a diamond. This one has like a fish. So all of them are marked to each other. All right, so that's good. As you can see right here, I have my number on there, number 6. Hopefully I'm pointing the camera right for you. The piston rings, they're a little gushy in there, a little sticky. But They don't look horrible. Piston needs to be cleaned really, really good. Piston skirt doesn't look horrible. A little bit of wear. Looks pretty good overall though. Oh yeah, the bearing, rod bearing, you can see a little bit of brass coming through, or copper coming through there, so wear on the bearings there. And then over here on the engine, everything's still tight. Crankshaft turns over really nice. And then on our rod journals here, the rod bearing journals, they look nice. I don't see any damage. Next up, I need to go ahead and pull the main caps, check the mains, pull the crankshaft out. Let's see how these bad boys want to come off. Pretty good. The bearing looks nice. There's the thrust washer. It's good. And I took the oil pump off, 2 9/16 head bolts. And let's see if we can get this one off. That one's got the rear main seal in it. There we go. There's your 2-piece rear main seal. The other side is right there. Goes around the crankshaft. Okay, clean rag. Let's check these mains on our crankshaft. Everything looks good. Set the crankshaft up on end and check these bearings here. Get a clean part on my rag. Those bearings look pretty good with the exception of this one. So look pretty good, but yeah. Okay guys, full engine teardown tonight. Hit that like button. Come on, hit that like button for me. Okay, so looks like the cylinders are pretty good. Crosshatch, no ridge. So looks like the cylinders are good. Now, as far as everything else goes, it is 9 o'clock. I'm gonna call it a night. Quick glance over. My first thoughts are re-ring it, new bearings, all new gaskets, clean it to death, dingle hone the cylinders. Just a glaze break, that's it. Don't hone them out, just do a glaze break. But yeah, that's my first thoughts. Of course, I'm gonna do some measuring on the crankshaft, measure the pistons, the taper in the cylinder. So as far as taper goes, I mean, I'm gonna measure the top half, measure the bottom half, make sure they're equal. But also measure the crankshaft, make sure that's good. But that's my initial thoughts. Garage rebuild, I think we'll be okay with it. As far as today and everything else, I think that's gonna be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is gonna be a cool project. 318 build, so all you 318 guys, hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and we're gonna see what we can do with this thing. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time.